Hi, this is Debra Lamb, and you're listening to Tommy Throwback Kovac on Splat from the Past.
Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today is my 600th episode, my 600th interview. I didn't think that this would ever be possible. I thought I was gonna do 10 episodes and then move on, but I have gotten to 600 episodes and I am so proud of myself. I am interviewing Todd Sheets, the director of such films as Bone Hill Road, Moonchild, Nightmare Asylum, Sorority Babes and the Dance-a-thon of Death, which I'm going to ask him about because I love the original. And his new film is Clownado, which is starting to get acclaim. And I'm going to talk to him about that and talk about horror in general. After I heard him on Neil's podcast, Neil Jones's Without Your Head podcast, I was like, I got to get this guy on, So I was first aware of him last year when Amy Blair was on the podcast and she told me about him. And so I looked him up and I pondered interviewing him for the longest time, but then I just decided recently I'm going to go for it. So, here is my interview with Todd Sheets. Hey, Todd.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great. How are you?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm just hanging in there.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
It's true. It's true.
Well, welcome to the show. You're my 600th guest today.
Wow, there you go. There you go. That's pretty great.
Yeah, last October, I was interviewing a horror vlogger, and she told me that her favorite director was Todd Sheets, and I immediately looked you up because I wasn't familiar, and then I saw you're the guy that directed the sequel to Sorority Babes, and I was like, oh, I gotta have him on next October.
Yeah.
And stuff. So
I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. And I heard you on Neil's show last week and stuff, and gave a great interview, so thought that was pretty good too. So do you remember the first horror movie you ever saw?
I do. It was my first childhood memory, really. One of my first, and that was Night of the Living Dead. It was on a triple bill with that movie. Sounds like I'm deflating. I'm not. It's that, I don't know how else to say it. It's a whole bunch of S's with Dirk Benedict, and he turns into a snake.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then after that, the last show was The Boy Who Cried the Werewolf. So it was a fantastic thing, but that was my first real childhood memory, I think, was that. I mean, I've got other memories of, like, Batman, and stuff like that. But
yeah.
As movies go, like the drive-in was where we were at, and that was the movie that was playing that really struck a chord. They all were good, I thought, as a kid, of course. But the two that were stayed with me my whole life were The Boy Who Cried the Werewolf. I've loved werewolves ever since, and Night of the Living Dead.
Nice. Those are good first ones to see. The first one I ever saw was The Shining, and my parents showed it to me when I was like a year old, and it just scared the shit out of me.
Well, I'm sure.
Yeah. And funny thing is, we still have the tape to this day, but in 1987, we taped it over for Back to the Future, and if you rewind it to the very beginning before the PG graphics of HBO comes up, you can actually see Shelley Duvall talking to the doctor, and it is very spooky.
Yeah. That was a winner. I like that movie. The scenes with the little girls and Danny driving the little, the big wheel and all that. That really had a lot of really interesting visuals. It wasn't like the book at all, but it didn't matter because as a kid, when I saw it, I was just like, holy crap, this thing's creepy. And the lady in the bathtub was the worst.
Yeah. I didn't see that until, I didn't remember seeing that part till, years later when I saw it again. And I wasn't that scared when I watched it again years later when I was, 7 or whatever. But, yeah. Did you see that in the theater?
And actually, that one I saw on cable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I may have seen it at theater. I cannot remember. I know I saw it on cable because it played on Showtime like every 42 seconds.
Yeah.
I remember that, and that one I may have waited and saw on cable, but I just can't remember. It could have been a movie theater. We could have went and saw it one time at the theater, and then because in those days I was seeing a lot of movies. It was in the the 80s or whatever, and I'd seen a bunch of movies at the theater, and it could have been one of the ones I saw.
Mm-hmm. Do you have like a top 10 list of favorites?
I mean, the thing is, it's so hard to do that because you have top 10 movies, of course, but it's always in different categories for me because, you got your top 10 noir movies, and you got your top 10 action movies. My top 10 horror movies are even divided because then you've got your European movies that are in there, and then you've got your American movies. I have to say that in my top 10 is Fulci. I love Fulci. I love Lucio Fulci. And pretty much The Gates of Hell, The Beyond, Zombie, House by the Cemetery, those are all right in my top movies, along with John Carpenter, who's my favorite American director.
Yeah.
I love everything he's done, and I love In the Mouth of Madness. I love The Thing, of course, and, The Fog. And John has a way of creating a mood with Dean Cundy, his cinematographer, that was really unsurpassed. And you would go to his movies and you feel this incredible sense of suspense and dread, and anything could happen at any minute. You always felt like almost tense, like you're on edge. And then I have like Dario Argento's opera, Suspiria, and Deep Red, stuff like that. I was really more influenced by the European stuff, by the Italian horror films, and also by Spanish horror films. Paul Naschy, the werewolf movies he did.
Oh, yeah.
Frankenstein's Bloody Terror played at the drive-in, I was there, and stuff like that. But then, as I was getting closer to my teenage years, like around 9 or 10 years old, I was really kind of into some of the sci-fi stuff, too, because it was kind of innovative at the time, because Star Wars had come out a couple of years before. Mm-hmm. It was 8 or 9, and near Star Wars, and it's, people are freaking out about Star Wars, and it was a life changer for all of us, because no one had ever made a movie quite like that before, with everything coming together exactly as it did.
Of course.
And then you had, like, The Black Hole from Disney, which was fantastic, and the Buck Rogers stuff, which was goofy but really fun, Battlestar Galactica. It actually played at the drive-in, these movies. So there were also TV series later, but I remember Battlestar Galactica playing at the drive-in. I was like, this is crazy. Laser Blast, from Charlie Band.
Oh, yeah.
All those movies made an impact on me. Star Crash with, as a matter of fact, I'm looking at the Star Crash soundtrack signed by Cheryl Monroe for me, and it was like, that movie did have an impact on me, too. All those things, because I love horror films, but also science fiction at the time was very exciting, and it wasn't just, like before that, it was like Silent Running, which I liked, okay, but it was kind of slow for a kid.
Yeah.
I love the robots, but it was really kind of slow. 2001, completely over my head. I was a kid, I didn't get into that at all. And it's bored out of my mind. Stuff like, there was a lot of sci-fi, but it wasn't the same kind of sci-fi until Star Wars. And then I loved Star Trek as a kid. Loved it. Spock, Kirk, loved all that. But when you hit that as a kid, you start seeing Star Wars and all those other movies came out, and everything suddenly became more of a space adventure. It was like Sinbad in space. I loved those Sinbad movies as a kid. I saw them all at the theater. And so that was really a big thing for me, too. So I had a lot of horror films I was watching, and then I was watching all these sci-fi films. And I tell you, that was a great time, though, with the 70s and 80s, because there was a really big renaissance of incredible art and incredible culture. And I was watching all these amazing movies like Dolomite and Dr. Black and Mr. Hyde, Blackenstein. I was there. I was at the drive-in, and we were seeing those all the time. And the audience was so mixed, and you didn't think about it. You didn't care. You weren't like, wow, I'm at 63rd Street Drive-In, which is predominantly a black drive-in, and no one cared because everyone loved the fact that these movies were so over the top. They crossed cultural boundaries, and you learn stuff. I learned a lot about music and a lot about culture through these movies. There was a lot of Asian movies that were released at that time, Asian horror films and Asian action movies. My God, I loved it. I'd go on Sunday nights when I didn't have school, in the summer.
Yeah.
Sunday nights were were martial arts nights, and you could see all these Shaw Brothers movies and stuff that, you know, it really opened the doorway to a kid in the suburbs in the middle of, nowhere here in Kansas City, Missouri, who suddenly was open to all this culture and all these great ideas and myths and legends that really became something that I personally latched onto and really appreciated.
Yeah, I bet you looking forward to Dolomite Is My Name comes out tomorrow on Netflix.
Yeah, it's really crazy, too, because I've been doing some interviews because I got to work with Rudy, and I have the distinct honor of being his only true horror film.
Oh.
When he worked on Violent New Breed with us, and we became friends and stayed friends for years and years up until the end. And I just love the guy, and he was a true artist, a one-of-a-kind human being. Mm-hmm. Gentle man, really, but at times he could become Dolomite. It was true, and but he was a very good to me, very good-hearted, took a chance on this crazy, goofy white kid in the middle of the country who just knew everything and every detail about his films and was this huge fan. And he did it because he said I was doing what he did when he started, which was scraping and doing everything I could to make a movie on no money against all odds. And he felt like he wanted to help out and be a part of that. So he literally jumped in and took on the part for us and came in for 4 or 5 days, and we had a great time. And when he left town, it was great because he gave me a clock. He used to make these clocks with velvet on them and rhinestones and all these jewels. And he made me a clock, and he had put his picture on it, and he colored it with crayons, and he signed it to me. And then he gave me a picture and a Human Tornado signed poster when he was leaving town, and said it was really an honor to be here, and it was treated me very good, and he had a really good time. And I'll tell you another really funny story real quick. Mm-hmm. When we brought him in town the night we brought him in, he didn't want to stay at the fancy hotels, the modern hotels, I should say, at the airport. So I booked him a room in a really nice modern hotel. He said, "Oh, no, I want to go to the Mule Box." The Mule Box is downtown. It's an old hotel. It's also very fancy, but it's older, and it's got like the old school charm. Mm-hmm. And he stayed there in the 60s and 70s, late 60s and early 70s, when he was starting out his comedy routines and he was touring. And then in the mid-70s, he stayed there again. He said, "I want to stay at the Mule Box." I said, "You got it." So he took him to the Mule Box. Mm-hmm. Well, I get home, Yeah. I was in for about half hour, and I left, and I get home, and about 2 or 3 hours later, I get a phone call from the Mule Box. "Oh, you need to come down here. We have a real problem." I go, "Okay." Mm-hmm. "How soon do you get?" I'm on my way. So I get down there. I walk in, the guy's like, "Oh, there's no problem. You're fine. You can go back home." I'm like, "Well, why'd you call?" Around the corner in the bar, which was quite a large little nightclub area, we had taken some kind of table and made it a stage, and he was on this thing, and he was entertaining the entire crowd. But what had happened was, they freaked out at first, but then all of a sudden, all these people started congregating to Rudy, and they were selling them lots of alcohol, lots of drinks, because Rudy had just busted out his comedy routine right there. No microphone, no nothing, and entertained an entire crowd of people that grew and grew until the place was packed. And I'll always remember that, because he just loved doing comedy, and he loved performing so much that he just did it.
Yeah. Wow. What year was that?
That was 1996 when we did Violent New Breed.
Wow. That's amazing. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that movie, though. It's going to be good, I think. I think Eddie's going to do a good job.
I think so. I've heard a lot of things about it. And I remember talking to some of the people who've been on, maybe it's been about 18 months ago, and they were kind of really in the thick of it. And their heart was in the right place when they were talking to me. They were saying that, this is a heartfelt tribute, and that. So they tried to keep it as straight as possible. In movies, you have to kind of embellish or move things around a little bit for the flow of the film, but a lot of this is pretty accurate, even though it's played for comedy in a lot of spots. But I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, I was supposed to go see it, but I was in the middle of production, and they did a screening, and I was going to go, but I couldn't. So I'm really looking forward to seeing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you, I have a lot of eclectic tastes and stuff. I like stuff going back to the 30s and all genres and stuff. I also grew up watching horror anthology shows. Did you watch those?
I did. Yep, a lot of those, actually.
Yeah,
they were very popular, you know.
Yeah, my favorite was The Hitchhiker on HBO.
Oh, yeah, that was a great series, man.
Yeah. It was
also, in the 70s, growing up as a drive-in, you'd see things like The House with Your Blood and Vault of Horror. And I remember Tales from the Crypt scared the hell out of me as a kid because of the Santa Claus thing. God, it was creepy.
Yeah, those Christmas slasher movies. I didn't even know that there was that many until like last year. I saw like a top 20 best poll, and there was a lot of stuff on there I had never seen before.
Yeah, I don't think there used to be, but over the years it's gotten, like when I saw that at the drive-in, as part of Tales from the Crypt, that was just a small segment of the whole film, of course, but that segment with Joan Collins and the kid and the Santa Claus, the escaped lunatic, that segment, I don't know, 15 minutes, but no one had done anything like that really at that point, and it just scared the living hell out of me, because I was like, Santa Claus was kind of freaky anyway, and so you watch that, and it was like that, so that was a forerunner, you know, and then of course you had your later movies in the 80s, the Silent Night, Deadly Nights, and of course Black Christmas was the granddaddy of all of them, which, believe me, is still one of the greatest slasher movies ever made. You know, it's crazy because they've tried to remake it so many times. I'm like, just leave it alone, man. It is what it is. The sequels are weird, but I sure love that original. And there was a Christmas Evil. There was a few of them during that time period, but that really opened the doors for all the ones that are out there now. There's a ton of them, like you said.
I know it's going to get to the point where, you know, people are going to run out of ideas of how to make them because everything's been done pretty much with them.
I remember one called Elves. This was in, I don't know, mid-'80s or later part of the 80s. It was called Elves, and it had Dan Haggerty. Grizzly Adams. He was in it. And that movie's nuts. But you know what? I was really entertained by it when I was younger.
Oh, man.
So they'll find a way. You know, the Krampus movie was pretty cool, and I enjoyed it. You know, there was a lot of them that came out. Rare Imports was really good. So there's a few that really did something kind of new and original. I think, like you said, they're kind of getting to that point where, like, okay, it's all the same, but creative minds and find a way.
Yeah, they made a Hanukkah movie last year with Sid Haig and a couple of people.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I love it. It'll stab you to death with a dreidel. It's going to be wonderful.
Yeah. Did your town have local creature feature shows?
Oh, we did. Yeah. We had Friday Night and Creature Feature. First was Creature Feature, and I remember that because that one had Uncle Ed, which was the host. And he'd always dress up and be all creepy, and as a kid, I just loved it. And I got to meet Uncle Ed sometimes. He was such a nice guy to me, you know, and I enjoyed the experience. I enjoyed all those movies because you never knew what you were going to get. They could be a really cool Hammer movie, or it could be like Octoman. You know, you never knew what you were going to get on there. And some of them were really awful, but really charming and really shaped who I am now, just watching those films and experiencing that. And I remember then later, Friday Night came along with Carnation Mortem. She was like the Elvira.
Oh, yeah.
In the Midwest.
I reached out to her, yeah.
She's a neat lady. I really like her. Roberta Solomon, I believe is her real name. But
right.
She's a really nice lady, and I really like her. And I like the fact that she, it was a job. She did the morning show.
Yeah.
Then they needed someone to host this thing. They just tapped her to do it, I guess. Yeah. And so she started doing this Elvira kind of knockoff Cremation Mortem. She was more like Morticia Addams than Elvira, but it was really cool cool.
Yeah.
Because she also played, like, crazy movies, and of course I don't think she had anything to do with the booking of those. It was more the producer, but I do remember, one night they'd have, Frankenstein's Bloody Terror, and then the next time you watch it, it might be like a Roddy McDowell. That movie It was like a golem walking around, and then they'd have, some really, really bad movies about the Mad Doctor of Blood Island or something.
Yeah.
I loved all of those. People call them bad. I call them endearing, because the only reason I think you could think of them as bad is just because they didn't have any money. I mean, they were trying to. Sometimes it didn't really, there was some bad movies, let's be honest. But anything by Andy Milligan, I remember, I was like, this movie, I couldn't even watch it as a kid because it was just really bad. But you know what? Andy was trying. He was out there doing it when no one was doing it and working his butt off with no money. So when you get older, you realize that they're not very good movies. But when you were a kid, everything's a cool movie. As long as it's got a monster in it or something, it's always a great movie.
Yeah, we had two guys in the Bay Area just before I was born, Bob Wilkins and John Stanley. Yeah, there were these two, nerdy, wisecracking Jewish guys who were doing who were doing creature features. And, I had John on the podcast last year. I think John's a little bitter that he didn't keep the show going after Channel 2 canceled it because he didn't know that the convention scene was going to be as big as it is now, and I think he's tired of telling the same stories from those 6 years that he hosted. I think he would have loved to have gone a little further,
Right.
It's a sad thing sometimes.
That's the thing, hindsight's 2020. A lot of these guys did the same thing. I mean, and the thing is, it was so weird because television stations started thinking that they needed to change all this formats and modernize, quote unquote, and cut these shows that if they would have just kept them, a whole new generation would have fallen in love with them, but it's really weird. I noticed that, they call it progress, but in a lot of ways it's not. I mean, kids today don't get to experience film in the way we did, and I think that's why they don't place any importance on film, on movies, because a lot of kids today, it's like fast food, they just run over to YouTube and watch a few minutes and then they're done.
Right.
We don't want a full-on story because we want a quick fix, and it better be done in 10 minutes. But at the same time, that's also why I think there's so much piracy, because there's no value placed on a film or a movie. These kids think, man, I'll just go steal it. I'll watch that, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to. I mean, you're like, well, you got to realize all the people that, you're stealing from. It's horrible, but they don't put any importance on it. They don't think of it that way. They don't think of. I remember someone saying to me, Todd, what do you think? You think these guys feel entitled to their work? And I was like, I don't know if they feel entitled. I think they just don't think about it. They don't care. It's become like ketchup for your French fries. There's no thought put into it. These kids just there's no connection. Creature features and things like that made us appreciate the movies more, I think, and what you had to go through to see a movie even back then made you appreciate, and you kind of understood more of what movie making was all about, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, the internet has really taken away the charm of films, I can't it's hard for me to get into watching a movie online, but I do it, but it's just not the same as it is, watching it on TV or in a theater.
Yeah, I agree. I like it when you can maybe Chromecast it or something onto your TV, because I can't do.
Oh yeah.
I can't sit at a computer and just watch a movie. I'm certainly not going to watch it on my cell phone. I just can't do it. I'm like, this is not the way a movie is meant to be watched at all. I just can't. I get mad. Like, I'm halfway through this thing. I'm like, I can't even see all the details. This is horrible. I'm done. I miss, how are you going to watch an Italian spaghetti restaurant on a phone? You're not even seeing any of the grandeur and those amazing establishing shots and all those. They look like paintings, You're watching these beautiful, panoramic, awesomely composed shots on a cell phone, for God's sake. It's just not natural.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I refuse to watch it on a cell phone. I don't do it.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
Let's start a movement. Let's start a whole movement out here.
Yeah, an anti-internet movie watching movement.
That's right. That's right.
You mentioned before that John Carpenter's one of your favorite horror directors. Are there any others?
Well, I talked about Lucio Fulci, Argento, George Romero, also John Carpenter.
Yeah.
I've liked some of Wes Craven's work, not all of it.
Same here.
Some of it, some. It's hard because you can't really say, if you say anything like, if you say anything that seems negative about someone like Wes Craven, a lot of people hate on you. But it's like, listen, the truth is the truth, and over the entire body of work, there was a handful that I thought were really, really great horror films, and a lot of them I felt like Cursed. I mean, Cursed had a great werewolf that had a good cast. Why did it fall apart? Studio interference. So you can't blame Wes, but the film just wasn't that good. Deadly Friend wasn't that good. It was nostalgic for me. I enjoy the Exploding Head. It's just not a great movie. Hills Have Eyes 2, hello. We even had flashbacks from the dog. It's a crazy ass movie.
Yeah.
Does that mean I hate it? No. But I'm going to be honest about it. Wes Craven wasn't my favorite. I like a handful of his work. For me, like I said, it was Bava, Roberto and Mario Bava. It was Argento. It was Lucio Fulci. It was Ricardo Frida. Those guys. It was also, to Umberto Lenzi, Joe D'Amato. All those guys were doing a lot of stuff that was being distributed when I was hitting the drive-ins a lot, and the quote-unquote grindhouse style movie theaters. I was hitting those a lot in the late 70s and into the 80s. And I saw a lot of that, like Flippers and stuff. All that was like really up there for me. But John Carpenter, his work touched me in a lot of ways over the years. I just loved what he did. And so that's why he became like my favorite American horror director. I just loved everything he did. I loved Joe Dante. Mm-hmm. I love John Landis, but John Landis didn't really do much horror. He did a few horror films.
Yep.
Most of his stuff was just straight out comedy, but then he's so good at horror. And when I talked to John, I've told him several times, look, man, I don't want you to do any remakes or anything, but I'd love to see you get back and do an original horror film because you're so good at it. We need someone. Joe Dante was so good at it because these guys were famous Monsters kids. These guys were, I was too. I was a famous Monsters of Filmland kid. Corey Ackerman, these were the kids, these were the guys that grew up on Famous Monsters magazine, and they knew how to make movies. They absolutely knew how to make movies. They knew what they were doing, and they knew, how to basically craft monster movies and horror films in a way that was very entertaining. You could get shocked, but you didn't have to be so disturbed. Like nowadays, I can't even hardly watch half this stuff because it just seems like, oh, it's penis mutilation. It's more penis mutilation.
Yeah.
It's over. I mean, they're trying to outgross each other, but they're not telling a story. And I even get, like, gorehounds who get mad at me because they're like, yeah, the movie was awesome effects and great gore, but, man, we were kind of bored. And I'm like, how are you bored? Because it's nonstop from beginning to end, but it's because I'm telling a story. And it's almost like these guys are almost like porn addicts because they just want, like a movie like Torment where someone's just sitting in a bathtub killing themselves for the entire movie, cutting body parts off. There's no story, but there's enough to hang these effects on. I'm not saying anything bad about that movie. It's technically well done and all. I'm just saying that's not for me because I don't feel like, and I don't know when that happened. I'm getting on a tangent, but back in the day we had people like Stuart Gordon.
Yeah, yeah.
And God, Stuart Gordon had a great eye. Frank Henenlotter. We had people who were amazing filmmakers, and let's not forget some of the masters. Roger Corman.
Oh, yeah.
Roger Corman. Some people say he was just kind of a lackadaisical director, but Roger, and he was very workmanlike. He wanted to get these movies done fast, but at the same time, he did have vision.
Yeah.
His vision was on a broader scale. It was an entire studio. It was a system. And because of him, we got Joe Dante. And because of him, we got all those amazing talents. I mean, even Ron Howard. All those guys came through, Francis Ford Coppola. All these people came through Roger Corman and basically learned their craft by doing everything on a Roger Corman movie. So it's like, to me, there's so many great directors that, I look up to today. Don Coscarelli, I mean, let's look at Don's body of work. I mean, has Don ever made a bad movie? He's really pretty darn, the last Phantasm was a little weird.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad movie, though, you know. And you had guys, you know, like Night of the Creeps. Hello, one of the greatest movies of our time. And I absolutely love Night of the Creeps. And so the director goes on to do The Monster Squad. And you're going, wow, this guy is really someone to watch. And you're really excited about it because, well, hell, he's made two of the greatest horror films that you can remember, and especially during that time period. And then he disappears. And you're like, he's never made another movie. Of course, I'm talking about Fred Decker.
Yeah, RoboCop 3. That was
obviously the guy knows how to make a decent movie.
Yeah.
Why don't we have more movies from him? And of course, there's all these politics involved as to why. But think about that. You had Dan O'Bannon.
Yeah.
All these guys at the time who were so talented. They were making these movies. I mean, Tom Holland was amazing craftsman during the 70s and 80s. A lot of movies today don't seem to share in that open imagination. Like a lot of horror films all look the same. They seem to have like some kind of aesthetic where they can't look different. This is what a horror film looks like. It's kind of homogenized. Whereas back then, well, Phantasm didn't look anything like Evil Dead.
Yeah.
And let's talk about Sam Raimi. You talk about a visionary.
Oh, yeah.
Sam's body of work is, I don't think Sam's made a bad movie. Even Crime Wave, I thought was pretty great. And, you know, he is, wow, right? You just look at Sam Raimi and you go, wow. And during that time period, we also got David Lynch. You know, we also got the Coen brothers. All from that same pool of talent. And you're saying to yourself, my God, man, you know, but see, nowadays there's not a place for that. Because back then, David Lynch could make a movie like Eraserhead for, you know, no money at all.
Yeah.
They had a few $100,000. Not even that. The Eraserhead, what was it, like $50,000 or something unbelievable? And then, of course, maybe it got a little more when they picked it up. But he makes a movie like that, and he was able to put it in theaters. They believed in the movie, and he was able to catch on. Nowadays, that would never happen because everything was homogenized, everything was studio ran, and everything was kind of done in a certain way as to almost hold back the creative underground. And that's one of the things that I learned William Castle and Sam Shepard and you know, all those guys who were showmen. And they would take the movies, and they would go across the country, and they would show them the movies. And so you know, Al Adamson and those guys. And so I kind of started learning from them, and I kind of did that too. And John Coscarelli was a good influence on that too. He's like, you know, take the movie and go see what you can do with it. So I contacted all these theaters, and I'm like, hey, man, you know, you guys have to switch over to digital projection. You need money to do that. You know, here's my proposal. I'll come in, we'll show my movie. You keep all the proceeds for your theater. You keep 100% of the profit. I needed people in the seats. I need asses in those seats to look and to know my product and to get the word out there about this film. So that word of mouth will help the movie grow, and it will also help because having theatrical screenings helps with distribution, get a better distribution model. And I would take these movies and I would go all over the country and show these movies in the theaters that needed the help financially. And I needed the audience, and it would work out great. And it was kind of expensive, but it was so cheaper than taking out ads in a magazine, believe it or not. You could do 2 or 3 screenings for the cost of a magazine because you just had to pay to get there. You know, you get a flight and you go.
Right.
Maybe a hotel room for the night or a couple nights. But then it kind of grew, and then I'm doing screenings at drive-ins, and I'm, you know, doing special events, and it was amazing. And then suddenly people are aware of a movie like Bone Hill Road. And then all of a sudden, when it's time to get a distribution deal on Bone Hill Road, and we're trying to get people to pick the movie up, next thing I know, I'm getting word that Walmart took the movie because it had awareness. People knew what it was. And I was like, I can't believe this little movie, little monster movie we shot for, you know, $13,000 is going to be in Walmarts all over the world. This is insane. It happened because of the guys that, you know, we were talking about these directors and these people that I grew up idolizing. Those guys are the ones that paved the way for that. Roger Corman and all those guys, because, you know, Herschel Gordon Lewis was a good friend of mine, and we even wrote some scripts together. And he hands on my back to do this too. He said, just take the damn movie and go knock on some doors. All of them are right, and it worked.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Is that why you think today there's no more horror villains like Freddy anymore?
Well, they keep trying, like the Happy Death Day thing, but the problem with that is they kind of shoot themselves in the foot, because Happy Death Day, the first one, was a pretty creative idea. We'd seen it before. It was Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
With a horror, twist, but it was just clever enough that it could have done something. But then by the second one, they turned it to full-on comedy, and I don't feel like it was very effective. And not that I didn't enjoy it, but it certainly wasn't like Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
I think they keep trying. We got Terrifier, Art the Clown. I thought Terrifier was a fun movie. And he's, they're trying to kind of do stuff with him and kind of market him a little bit. They didn't have much money, they're trying the best they can, but I agree with you. They had Wolf Cop. They try to have these iconic characters. It just doesn't have the same thing. Freddy Krueger was kind of, look at the Hatchet movies.
Mm-hmm.
The Crowley. They're trying really hard to make him the next Freddy or Jason, but and people love it, and I love it. Matter of fact, I absolutely love those movies, but it's just not there. Freddy Krueger was the last, I think, brilliant idea for a horror villain that just across the board had longevity. Again, coming from Wes Craven and these brilliant minds that were all brought up in a system where they were basically taught you need to build in longevity for your own career. The Roger Corman School of Filmmaking,
Mm-hmm.
And so it seems like they kind of understood, okay, this is a great idea. Maybe it's something we could expand on later. But it's a great idea to expand on because he has the ground rules, but he also is part of a dream world, so he can kind of do anything and be anybody and do all kinds of cool stuff. It was a brilliant idea.
Mm-hmm.
More so than anyone else. They still do Mike Myers and stuff today.
Oh, yeah.
It's a far cry from the original first two Halloween movies, and I really, in my heart, wish they would have done what John wanted. Like, they did the first two, and that was pretty much the end of the story. And then on the third one, they did this movie that everyone hated at the time, but I loved Season of the Witch. And John's idea was, with Debra Hill, every year or every couple of years, we'll do a Halloween-themed movie,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll have something to do with the holiday of Halloween, but it doesn't have Michael Myers in it. It has, it's just a cool Halloween story. And I think that would have been brilliant to see what those creative minds could come up with every year or every other year, whatever, bringing out these great, incredible stories that are based on my favorite holiday. It doesn't have to be Michael Myers, but then they felt like they needed to bring Michael Myers back because, this and that.
Mm-hmm.
And look, it's great, but let's really be straight honest. I have the entire box set for the Halloween thing.
Yeah.
How many of those later movies do I watch often? With the weird scar on the hand, and the man in black, and the guy with the black boots, and this and that, and suddenly that's his niece, and that's his nephew, and that's his uncle, and that's his sister, and that's his other sister that we didn't know about, and that's his other, you're like, God damn it, what are you doing to Michael Myers? And pretty soon Michael Myers has the largest lineage in horror, because everyone is related, and he has to kill them all. And it's gone beyond the focus of the original film. And I hated what Rob Zombie did, because, like, the first Rob Zombie Halloween, if they had started that movie 40 minutes in, I would have loved it. But no, they had to start it when he was a kid tearing the wings off the butterflies, and they had to do it. Man, you completely demystified the boogeyman. You completely ruined, and that proves that people don't understand what made the original so great. What made the original so great was the fact that you had a little kid in suburban America who, for no reason anyone understands, wigs out one night in a clown outfit and kills his sister.
Mm-hmm.
And they say his eyes turned black. He had the blackest eyes. He had the devil's eyes.
Yeah.
He said he's not human. He's possessed. And what was it? Was he just always nuts and it just finally clicked? Was he actually possessed by demons? What the hell happened to Michael Myers? You didn't know, and you didn't care because that dude was vicious and he was coming to get you and he was the boogeyman. And in Rob Zombie's movie, he's not the boogeyman. He's a kid with a stripper mom, and he got abused by a crummy stepfather.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but and listen, I have nothing against Rob Zombie. As a matter of fact, I think he's probably a hell of a cool guy. But why is every movie he makes has to take place in a trailer park, or a stripper, or a crack addict, or whatever? Why did we have to do that to Mike Myers? Why did Mike Myers suddenly have to become the white trash icon of America? Why couldn't he still be the boogeyman? And that's why I think no one understands. That's why Freddy Krueger was great, and the original Mike Myers, and Jason Voorhees was great, because Jason was almost like a superhero, only a bad guy version. I mean, you couldn't take him down. And then when you did take him down, they brought him back, and he was zombie Jason. He looked like Eddie from Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
He was running around doing cool stuff. And my favorite looking Jason out of all of them was Part 7. And if they wouldn't have cut it, Part 7 probably would have been one of all of our favorite movies, just because the gore was so incredible. But they cut the movie so badly that, of course, we know now it's one of the driest. That and Part 6 are so dry. And Part 5 didn't even have Jason in it. I don't even count that one. It's got some stupid kid's dad. So I was like, you guys are really... But I still love Jason. Because why? But when they made the modern one, let's be honest, how many of us love that Jason? Even though the guy was nice that played Jason. He's a really nice guy. It's not his fault.
Yeah.
And I love Kane. Kane's a friend, and I just really love Kane Hodder. But
good guy.
Derek's a good guy. Derek Mears is a good guy. It's not his fault. They made this movie with WB cast members. Nothing against them, because Supernatural is like one of my top 5 TV shows ever. But
yeah,
there was no heart. Suddenly, Jason's got tunnels underground. I mean, it was the weirdest freaking Jason movie ever. Of course, compared to some of the ones I've seen lately, it was a classic. But still, that's not the heart of the characters. So now it's all about, I don't know why, but it just seems like no one can tap into that fear, because they're too busy trying to explain everything.
Oh yeah.
We didn't care. We didn't care how Jason survived in the lake underneath the water. My buddy Ari Leland popping out. We didn't care how Ari Leland lived in the lake for 10 years, while his mom's out slaughtering everybody. We never stopped and said, "Oh, wait a minute." We just said, "That's fucking scary." We all jumped when he came out of the water, and that was the way it was. We didn't have to sit there and come up with some ridiculous entire novel about why this kid was there. I mean, it was just like, it's because it's cool. It's like an urban legend. Half of those don't make a damn lick of sense, but they're creepy when you think about it,
Yeah. The first time I saw the villain in Happy Death Day, I immediately thought of Terror Train.
Yep, which was fantastic also. Now, there's a great movie that had a really creepy premise. It's an underrated film, because a lot of people don't really give it much credit. That movie was a lot creepier to me than Prom Night, or any of those. That one really was creepy, and it had that whole vibe going on the train, and the weird thing about the magician, and everything felt weird, and it had just a neat atmosphere. And that killer was cool because they kept changing disguises and stuff, and they never had to make a sequel to that. And you know what? That's what makes that movie great today, because they don't have a sequel. The original Fog, I don't count the remake. The original Fog doesn't have a sequel, and I love that about it, because it's those pirates. They were creepy as hell in that Fog. You didn't know what the hell was going on. You just saw these. You barely saw them at all. Like, little shots here and there. That's what made it so great.
I agree, yep. So your new movie out is Clownado. How did you get the idea for that?
Well, it was an older script. It's really weird, because as you go, like, when I did Dreaming Purple Neon, that script had been around since, like, 95, something like that. When I did Stone Hill Road, that script had been around since 92, somewhere around there. That idea and that original script. And then, like, sometimes you reach into your past. House of Hidden Secrets I just wrote, because I almost died. I had a heart attack, quadruple bypass surgery. I'm in the hospital. I'm thinking this is going to be my last movie I ever make, so I'm going to just write it while I'm in the hospital, and I probably won't even get to film it. I'll just write it, because I thought I was going to die in there. That one was modern. But this Clownado was originally written around 95, 96, and then it was just the original idea, and then I actually fleshed it out in like 98, did an actual script called Clowns, Z. I don't know why I put a Z on it, I just thought it was funny. Well, I was actually hanging out with a buddy here at the studio building, and we were working on stuff, and Daryl is his name, and we were kind of joking around about what I was going to do after going Hill Road. And I had a vampire script called Cruel Midnight, which I think is pretty cool. We're eventually going to make that. But I was thinking about doing that next because I did the werewolf. Let's go and do a scary old school vampire movie. But he's like, well, you need to do Wolfnado. Everything's NATO. Everything's got to be in a tornado nowadays. And so I started laughing, and we were joking around. We were just joking. Mm-hmm. So a couple days go by, and we're talking about all the different NATOs. And he goes, I thought of something that you really should do. Have werewolves fight clowns and call it Clownado. And I said, holy crap, that kind of flows. I kind of like that title. I laughed for like an entire day about how ridiculous that is. That's the most ridiculous, stupidest thing. And I thought, you know what? I kind of like it. And that's how Clownado was born. I thought, you know what? I think I can actually make this work because the old script had the witch. The clowns were killed and brought back to life as the undead, so they were like zombie clowns. Yeah. I can almost still do that, only she kills them with a storm, and then they become part of the storm. And that could be kind of where I take off from. And it kind of excited me because it was different and kind of cool, and it wasn't because I was trying to cash in or rip off Sharknado.
Yeah.
I had these great ideas, and so when we started doing it, I went in and rewrote the script and started pre-production, and we were trying to raise money. And in the end of the day, a movie like Clownado needed more money than what we had. When we first started filming, we had $7,000. That's insane. Yeah. This thing is a huge, epic movie with all these effects and all this stuff. And I originally wanted to do a practical tornado with Joe Castro out in L.A. We were going to hang out, do this practical tornado, film it, embellish it maybe here and there with some visual effects, but it wasn't going to be CGI at all. It was going to be, he was going to build this giant tornado in his studio, and we were going to film it. And then he started into scenes old school, just all visual effects without CGI at all. Mm-hmm. But it didn't work out that way because just doing the miniature, just one block of that miniature town was over $1,000 because you have to make it look real. Yeah. And if we could have got $5,000 more or so, we could have done it. But there was no way we could do it, and so we were really bummed. We also learned a lot about, like, they have a ride at Universal, Twister. It's not a ride, it's an attraction. Mm-hmm. You go through this thing, and suddenly a tornado appears right in front of you. We figured out how that was done, and so that's how we were going to start the tornadoes. And then we were going to have this big, practical, physical tornado with all these cool lights in it. Mm-hmm. So we were going to film it at a different frame rate, and it was going to be like, we could speed it up, and it would look very fast. It would be very cool. But again, the best laid plans, right? Because we just couldn't do it. So I'd already had people who had invested and who had supported us through Indiegogo. Mm-hmm. And the truth is, you can't stop a production like that. So you either move forward or you put it all on hold, and everyone gets upset with you, and they feel like they've been robbed because they have been. Or you could try to return all the money, but then you're not making any movie at all. And then they're mad at you because they believed in a project that got canceled. Yeah. Plus, that money would be minus the Indiegogo fees, so everyone would lose out. And I'm like, well, we have to do something because I'm not going to let all these people down. So we started on the movie with $7,000 like idiots. And we didn't get much more, really. I mean, we did a little. It trickled in, thank God, because there would be times we needed something sometimes I'd have to do the effects 2 or 3 times because we had some effects issues on the movie, and we didn't have the money. And suddenly I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And then boom, we did some donations. I'm like, oh, thank God I can buy some latex, stuff like that. But it was really the most grueling, difficult movie I've ever made, and in a lot of ways, the only one that was that hard, as hard as that, was Violent New Breed, and that was for a whole different set of stupid reasons. But this was just really difficult because it's not always about the money, but when you're doing something called Clownado and you need all these effects, and a lot of people don't realize that the end of the movie, all the stuff that takes place in the airport with all the airplanes, that's all real. I've had dudes on review say, I think those airplanes look so fake. cast in one airplane, and a few of us in another, the crew. Me and the assistant director and my script continuity person were in the other plane. And we're actually trying to film, the scenes in the air for the place to put the Clownado in later, the visual effect. And the wind was going, and there was one point where we almost hit each other because the wind gust came and shoved us over. We're like, where's the other plane? And the guy's like hitting an alarm below us because we were literally like 12 feet or 15 feet from this other plane. We were about ready. These are small planes, by the way. These are, 4 or 6 passenger planes. And we're like, oh my God, we almost hit the other plane, the Cessna. And it was like, oh crap. But it was really hard to shoot that stuff, especially on a 35-cent budget, So I know that it's not a perfect film. I wish it was. I wish we had more money. We had to cut corners where I didn't like it, but I'm still proud of the fact that we got it finished. It's pretty entertaining. I really love the light design, the lighting on it. I mean, some people, again, watch it on their cell phone. It's so dark, I can't see it. Well, that's maybe because you're watching it on a cell phone. It's inspired by noir movies, inspired by Italian horror films, the lighting style. I'm really happy with the sound design, and I'm really happy with the flow of the film and how it turned out. There's some really big moments in the film. It's not my favorite movie I've ever made because I feel like, again, when you're directing something like that and you have to cut corners constantly or you're having to edit things out, really wanted to keep as a storyteller, it's frustrating. But, I am proud of Clownado because of, I know that every single person involved poured every ounce of their heart and soul in this thing just to get it finished. And it was tough. Some people jumped ship. We would lose people during filming because they couldn't handle it. But our sets are very good. We don't have negative sets. I don't do it. Our sets everyone loves working on these movies because our sets are very positive. They're very fun. They're very relaxed. You would never know. Matter of fact, a lot of the actors came to me later and said, we heard all these problems going on. We would have never known. We had no idea. And I'm like, well, that's good because that's my job as a director is to make sure you never know and you had no idea. So that made me happy. But Clownado, it was a rough one, man, and so I'm really happy that it's out there, and a lot of people seem to be enjoying it. We get some bad reviews. People hate the movie just based on the title before they even see it. So you can't win with a lot of those. You kind of have to just start ignoring them because a lot of people who review movies nowadays, I notice, really maybe, I don't know what their deal is. It just seems like they're like shock jocks. They just want to be as mean as possible to every movie, no matter what the budget or what, how good it is. And then you've got, people who, I look at people, going off on the Joker movie, which I felt like was brilliant, in a lot of ways. It wasn't a perfect movie, but it was damn good, and it was very well made and had an amazing, cast, but you can't please everybody. So it's kind of hard. You have to grow a thick skin because, I've had some really nasty people attack me over Clownado, but I'm like, look, man, I'll give you $7,000. You go try to make this movie with the script we had. I guarantee it. It's going to be a different story when we're done. And for me, it's just like, I can't please everybody, but, I'd say 70% of the reviews or 75% of the reviews on this have been really positive. I was kind of spoiled because on Bone Hill Road, like 95% of the reviews was positive. On Dream Purple Neon, like 98% of the reviews were positive. So I've been very lucky. And now I've got, some of these people who just take it upon themselves to, the trolls, just come after you and destroy your movie, but no one realized what you had to do just to get that movie done. And it was, and you did it for the right reason. I'm not doing it because I'm certainly not getting rich doing this. I'm doing it because I absolutely love it. I had a story to tell,
Yeah. I like how you give Linnea the name Spider.
Yes, because Linnea Quigley and I have been friends for years. Dave Dakota was my mentor, and he's, we talked earlier about my favorite directors, and I didn't get to get into that because I rambled. But I started to go down that path with, there's the three. There's the Holy Three, the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost of low-budget cinema for me. Mm-hmm. That was Fred Owen Ray.
Yep.
Fred is fantastic. I just spoke with Fred last night. He's a good friend.
He's a great guy. Yeah.
He's a really good person. Dave Dakota was my mentor. Mm-hmm. Fred has become a mentor of sorts, too. And Jim Wynorski. Those three.
Love Jim. Yeah.
You know, they really were like the holy trinity of low-budget cinema during the time when I was coming up and learning.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you meet like Kevin Tinney, and you learn a lot from Kevin, and you know, Charlie Band, who's a fantastic wealth of knowledge, and Charlie is kind of the guy that kind of gave those guys their boost. You know, Charlie was like the mini Roger Corman in those days, and he had kind of patterned his career on doing what Roger did, starting a studio and all that, and he enabled all those guys to learn their craft and to get better and better and to make these movies that I still hold dear to my heart. And Charlie's fantastic. All those guys are so fantastic. And one lunch with Charlie Band or any of these guys, Brett or Ray, any of them, one lunch, you learn more than an entire book or an entire semester of film school. I promise you that, because it happened to me. You know, Ted V. Michaels was my buddy, and just sitting down with Ted and just hearing what he went through, all of this stuff, these guys, that's what I'm saying, it's a different world now. But those guys were like, wow, those guys could teach you something, you know?
Yeah. The interviews I did with Fred and Jim, I felt like I took away a lot, you know? And with Fred especially, oh my God, that guy, you know, he did that movie Star Slammer. And that movie, you know, it takes place in a cave, but it was an abandoned liquor store they shot that in. I mean, that's a fucking filmmaker, you know?
It's true. Fred can do anything. And that's what I love about, and so can Dave, you know, and Jim. They can do action movies, they can do horror movies, they can do sci-fi, they can do, you know, Fred's latest thing, he's doing these Christmas movies for Lifetime Network. And Chris, let's not forget Chris Owen Ray, because Chris is still old school. He might be a modern director, but he does everything the way he was taught coming up with his dad. Mm-hmm. Chris is an amazing director. He's an amazing assistant director. You know, I was there, and I was watching firsthand. You know, Fred was the director, and it was a wonderful experience, but it was for a Lifetime movie, kind of a thriller, kind of like a teenage Basic Instinct kind of thing.
Yeah.
But Chris was the AD, okay? And Chris was a powerhouse of energy, and what a good guy, and also someone who knows his stuff. And those guys, I swear to God, those guys are like family, and I love them. I love them dearly, and you can learn everything.
Yeah.
And you know what? You have dinner with Ken Hall. A lot of people don't even realize Ken Hall, that name, but you look back at Ken Hall's work, he's a brilliant writer. I'm going to tell you someone else.
The Tomb.
Now, Rolf was kind of like in between. You know, he was like the old school and the new school. But Rolf Konevsky learned by working with, you know, these Dakota and all these guys. And Rolf is amazing. He can do so much on so little. He's a great writer. He's written things you wouldn't even know that he's written. You know, he's got award-winning work. And, you know, he's known for things like There's Something Out There, There's Nothing Out There. He's known for that. He's known for, you know, The Black Room, or he's known for, you know, Party Bus to Hell. But when you really look back at all the stuff Ralph's done as a writer, you just go, holy crap, this guy knows his stuff. You sit down and have dinner with Ralph, you come out of there feeling like you've been to a master class on screenwriting. It's really the way it is. And I can't stress enough how these people have shaped my life and helped me in so many ways as an artist, and how their you know, their support and their nurturing attitude, and the fact that they actually gave me a chance and brought me in and took me under their wing and made me part of their families. You know, it's an honor that, you know, I remember just a few weeks ago I was hanging out with C. Courtney Joyner, and wow, you talk about a guy that you can learn so much from. I mean, these guys just blow my mind. The main regret, like I got to hang out with Clinton a few times at Hollywood Book and Poster in different places in L.A. Clinton's great, but and he's a wealth of knowledge, and he's just a powerhouse of energy, really, manic energy. But I want to go back and I want to hang out with Russ Meyer, because I bet you could learn so much from Russ Meyer in one afternoon. So you could probably be a master filmmaker almost, just by hanging out with Russ Meyer. You know, Russ Meyer was really a brilliant filmmaker. No one gives him credit, because he made Faster Pussycat or, Super Vixens or Ultra Vixens or whatever.
Yeah.
No one gives him credit for the fact that he's really an incredibly well-rounded filmmaker that really knew how to edit and film and really knew the art of filmmaking inside and out. That's, I think, one of the things we're missing today.
Yeah. I mean, I think Jim and Fred and David, they all took their cue from Russ Meyer with the gratuitous tits and ass in a lot of their movies.
I think they did to an extent. Yeah, I do. I think that influenced them a little bit. I think more of it was Roger Corman's 3 Bs motto, and him saying,
yeah,
all right, look, in 7 minutes, we haven't had a boob shot, we haven't had any blood, we haven't had a monster, we haven't had a spaceship, we haven't had a crash, we haven't had a car flip. Do something. Put something here, 7 minutes. Because that's more of, I think, where they kind of learned that. But, of course, Russ Meyer influenced everybody, I think, because of the success of his films and the fact that he was willing to go for it. He didn't care. A lot of people say, he's a porn filmmaker. I'm like, show me the porn. He honestly didn't make porn. There's no, penetration and all that.
No.
His movies were not porn films. They had nudity, but his movies were exploitation films, and I thought they were brilliant.
Mm-hmm. They were very brilliant. Hey, I was curious, what was it like working with Eileen on this movie?
I had a good time with Eileen. Eileen and I are old buddies, and we met at a film festival many, many years ago. I think it was around 2013 in Omaha. And she came up to me and said, hey, come over here and buy my book. And I go over, I'm like, who the hell? So I go over there, and this funny, really a huge personality in this little body, right?
Yeah.
And so she's standing over there, this little lady, and I walk over, and I'm towering over her, and I'm like, and she's just showing me all her stuff. I said, holy crap, that's really cool. That's really cool. And, we start talking about her work in film and other things she's done. And I was like, well, we're going to work together, one of these days.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my thing. I said it to Ilsa, Diane Thorne. I said, Ilsa, we are going to work together. Because I loved her. We'd hit it off, we'd become friends. Anytime George Hardy's the same way. Anyone I've ever said to them, I'm going to work with you, it happens. For Lou Temple, it was even weirder because I'd had the heart attack and Lou had battled leukemia. And we both were survivors of this horrible, almost, we had near-death experiences and everything else. And when I had my heart surgery, Lou came out to Kansas City. I'd had him on my radio show and we'd kind of become friends. And he came out to Kansas City to visit me and to basically, see how I was doing and hang out and show his support. And Lou Temple, I remember I was at Walmart. It was midnight, and I was waiting for new movies to come out on a Monday night. Mm-hmm. And Lou says to me, he says, well, where's my part in this new movie you're writing? I was writing House Forbidden Secret. And I said, well, I do have a part that I think would be fantastic for you. And I told him about the part, about the priest. I said, you'd be like the main villain. And he said, I'm in. I'm so in. And he turned that villain into something special. And the scenes with him, oh my God, it was like magic seeing he and Diane Thorne work together. Oh my God, because she's the madam of the brothel, and she's just so magical watching her work. And it was like watching two masters of their craft. And they were bouncing ideas off each other. Well, I'll do this, and then you do this, and I'll put my hand here, and then and it was so great. And you're watching them bring these characters you wrote on paper to life in a way you could never imagine. Mm-hmm. I know I got off on a tangent, but
it's okay.
I do that. But Eileen was that way as well, because I wrote this part, and I was like, it's not a very big part, Eileen, but, we have no money. I'm going to do the best I can. And she's like, look, I don't care. You bring me in there. We've been wanting to work together a long time. This will be the start of something awesome. You bring me in for this movie, then you give me a bigger part in the next movie, and we'll just keep doing it. I said, you know what, that'd be fantastic. So we brought her in to play the owner of the diner. And she was friggin' awesome. She was so fun, and the set was, just popping, and she had such a good time. And I just saw her recently, and we had an amazing dinner together, and I just love her. I think the thing with me is, there's different factions. Some people will say, oh, no, we're fans of Linda Blair, or we don't like her, we do like her. You don't know what the hell. But you know what? For me, I'm not that way. I'm a horror fan. I love this stuff. I love movies so much that I love everybody. And I want to bring everybody together. And I don't believe in, you can't like Linda Blair, but not like Eileen Dietz, because she plays the part whenever, she was a stand-in that.
Yeah.
None of that matters to me because for me, they were both important to that movie. They both brought something special to that movie. So why can't we love both of them? There's this weird stuff in fandom where people are like, yeah, we don't like this person, but we like Derek Mears caught all kinds of hell for playing Jason, but Kane himself likes Derek Mears. Kane's like, hey, it's not his fault that the studio didn't put me in the part. It's not, it's like no one understands. The fans get really wrapped up. Robert Englund doesn't hate anyone else that would ever play Freddy Krueger because they're just doing a job. Robert Englund may not be happy with the studio for being jerks. Doug Bradley doesn't hate the people with Dimension or the people who played, Pinhead because Dimension Pictures were a-holes and wouldn't give him a decent deal. Mm-hmm. It's not the way it works. All these guys are friends, man.
Yeah.
All of us need to work together and to make the genre strong and to make new product. And I love everybody, man. Unless someone gives me a reason not to, unless I hire them or something for a film and they're really jerks to me. There are so many amazing, talented people that are my friends out there that I haven't even got to work with yet, like Tony Todd. We keep talking about it, but the right part just didn't click. Or when it did, he was doing another project, just like Sid Haig. Sid and I have known each other for years. We're friends. I love Sid Haig. And he was almost in Bone Hill Road. He almost played Grandpa, but he was having health issues at that time. Mm-hmm. And so we brought in Gary Kent. And Gary Kent, of course, from Schoolgirls and Chains and all the stuff. Now Gary's getting like this huge, it's crazy. We used him and no one knew who he is. Gary Kent. I'm like, you guys are going to find out who Gary Kent is because all you have to do is you won't believe who this guy is. So IMDb this guy. People, younger cast members, they had no idea. They're like, oh my God, he's like an exploitation icon, a drive-in movie icon. Exactly. And now they're doing documentaries about the guy. And, they're part of the character in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was based on Gary Kent.
Yeah.
This is exactly what, no one knows these people, but I did. And so in my heart, people like Eileen Dietz and George Hardy, Alan Kaiser from Night of the Creeps, he plays the Bradster. He's a really good friend of mine. He lives not far, about an hour away from me, and he's just an amazing person. And I brought him in, too, and we had so much fun together. All of these people inspired me and still inspire me. And I, in turn, want to do something to give back for them. That's ultimately the reason I even do this, man, is because I've never taken a salary in 31 years, not a single salary in 31 years. But what I've done it for is because when I was a kid and I had a rough upbringing, and I had bad things happen in my life, I would escape all the negativity by going to a movie theater and watching a horror film or a science fiction movie. Not so much the other ones. I wanted to watch something fantastical, something unreal that would take me out of it. And for that hour and a half or 2 hours, I was completely forgetting about all the troubles that my life was in, or my parents getting a divorce, or problems at school, or all the things that can happen. I moved around a lot, so it's so hard to keep friends. And the Wolfman and Frankenstein and the Creature and Guys and Doom and Batman, these were my friends because it was so hard to make friends, and it was such a weird, youth. But movies made it better, man. Movies made it better. So I wanted to try to do that and give back to the genre, give back to everything that made my life easier. And I thought, man, the ultimate dream for me is I can do that for some other kid one day. Like they can go and watch one of my movies, and for 90 minutes, they'll be entertained and they won't think about all the crap. Even if it's not a great movie and they just laugh through it, they'll enjoy themselves. And it'll take them, I'll create a world that they can inhabit and they can enjoy and they can share with me for that 90 minutes or 2 hours. And that's the same way with the actors that I loved growing up and that I still love. Man, I want to give back to those guys. I want to put them in my movies, and I want to experience an adventure with them, and I want to create a character for them, and I want to be part of creating a story that they are a part of, that they bring to life. Mm-hmm. It's all about that. That's why I do what I do. That's why I'm still here, and I'm stubborn, and I haven't given up yet.
Oh, God, that's very well said, Todd. I respect guys like you who do it for the art and not for the money. That's what we need in the business, I think. I think that's what we need. So,
appreciate that.
Oh, my pleasure. So I was curious, do you have any advice for people who want to use crowdfunding for a movie?
It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Listen, I am so thankful for the people who contribute and support us, because without you, we couldn't make these movies. But I'm trying to find alternate deals. I did crowdfunding twice. I've never done it before. I had to do it on Bone Hill because with werewolf suits and all that, I didn't know what I was going to do. So Stephen Byro from RS Films, one of my dear friends and also a distributor of our movies, he just kept bugging me. He said, do crowdfunding. Go do Indiegogo, Todd. Todd, go do Indiegogo. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try it. And I got to be honest, it was the first time and it was overwhelming because you have to fill all these perks and stuff. And for me, I don't have an army of people, so I was filling a lot of this by myself. And then nothing works out like you're supposed to. First of all, they take a lot of fees. So even though people look at your crowdfunding and go, wow, it says you got $20,000. And 4,000 of that came right off the top for fees for the banks and for Indiegogo. And then you got to take another 3,000 or more of that for the perks that you're going to have to manufacture. So really, by the time you get down to it, out of 20,000, you may use 10 or 11 for the actual movie. And I learned all this stuff, but I also learned that when you go to the post office, you say, okay, I need to know the rates for postage so I can be fair about my postage. What do you think the rates are going to be, say, 9 months down the road? And they give you an estimate, and they're never right. On Bone Hill Road, the postage rates went up 3 times during the Indiegogo part. A package that was like $9 to send to Europe was suddenly $15 or $17. And on Clownado, a package that was $12 has become $23. So this is no joke.
Wow.
So what about the ones that get lost in the mail? And then you have to resend those. You better be counting on that because you're going to have a lot of mad people because stuff out of say 400 packages, you're probably going to lose 40 of them. And those 40 people are going to be really mad. So you're going to have to replace all that stuff. So you have to have all of that set to go and in your head because you're going to have to overpay for duplication. Like I did a bunch of soundtracks for Clownado. And then I ran out of the soundtracks because so I had to get more soundtracks because people weren't getting their stuff and I had to resend it. Well, I had the right amount of soundtracks, but I even had like 10 over. That wasn't enough, so I had to get more soundtracks. And there's a minimum of 100. So I'm like, oh, well, that's more money that just came out of my pocket because the money from Indiegogo is gone because I've already used it on all these shipping things here. And oh wait, there's a problem with the T-shirts. Oh no, now I got to pay for that. And I got to, so pretty soon the Indiegogo money runs dry, and all the rest of it's coming out of my pocket. And pretty soon you're spending $2,000 or $3,000 on credit cards, or you're scraping to get all this stuff done. And like right now, I still have some packages I'm getting out to people from Clownado, and some of them are angry or whatever because it's taken a while. It's already at retail. Yeah, it is, but you're getting all this extra stuff. You're getting all this extra stuff.
Yeah.
You're getting all these perks. You're getting posters. You're getting lobby cards. You're getting CDs. You're getting buttons. You're getting all bumper stickers. All this stuff is coming with it that you're not getting at Walmart. So, I understand it's frustrating, but at the same time, please understand that I've had 5,000 setbacks trying to get these packages out to everybody. Plus, I've done all of the shipping myself. And it's so that part of Indiegogo is a nightmare. And the other thing Indiegogo did, listen to this good one, you're going to love this. So 55 of the orders that were the Storm Chaser orders, which were kind of big because they had a DVD and a Blu-ray combo and all this extra stuff, and like script pages, all kinds of stuff. 55 of those, not only did they lose all the addresses in there, a glitch, so they have all the names, but there's no addresses, and they didn't charge me for shipping for 55 packages. And so all that shipping, I'm not going to go back to these people and go, look, number one, I need your address. Number two, you got to pay for shipping 6 months later. It's not their fault. They supported my film. They supported my vision. They supported me as an artist. I'm going to take care of them. So I actually went back and said, okay, this really sucks, but I am going to pay for the shipping for this. It's not their fault. I have to eat that. So the shipping I have to pay for 55 packages, including the ones overseas that are $26, or 23 or 17. They're all different areas, but you're still paying that. And the package has lots of stuff in it, so it's not going to be cheap. And and then, I had to get all these addresses because there was no addresses, and some of the people didn't get my message, and so then they were writing to me going, hey, man, it's been like a year. Where's my shit? And I'm like, well, here's the deal. I wrote to everybody, I'm sorry you didn't get the email, but I put out a mass emailing to everybody that said I needed your address, and I never got it. But now that I do have it, I'll get it packed up this week, and we'll give it to you. That's what you do. People just have to be understanding that it's a nightmare. So Indiegogo is your friend and your enemy. Because, yes, you get some money, and that's great because you get to make your movie. But in addition to doing that, you also become a distributor of sorts because you also have to send all these packages to everybody and take care of everybody. And I've learned a lot of Indiegogo campaigns never follow through. People were telling me horror stories. These people, even big names. Like there was a deal with Argento. He raised like $200,000. The movie never got made. No one ever got their money back. It's weird. But so I've contributed to 6 campaigns. I've gotten one thing from J.R. Bookwalter, which is great because J.R. is awesome and he's always on top of it. And then I got one other movie, and that's it. That was my buddy James. Amazon Hotbox. I've gotten all of his stuff. I always support him. But I have no idea what's going on with the rest of that stuff that I contributed to. I never got anything.
Yeah.
It's been, some of them have been 4 years ago. I still don't have anything. I just I helped them. That's all I can say. I'm not going to go after them because I personally know now what living hell it can be. So they probably I fell through the cracks somewhere,
Yeah. Deborah Voorhees, she's doing fine with her 13 fanboy. I'm having her on next week to talk about it, but I'm sure she's had her setbacks too.
Yeah, and the thing is, look, it's a really good tool, but you almost need to set up a second group of people and like a second company to help you get all of that stuff shipped. Like you can be ready because it's going to be difficult.
Yeah. Well, Todd, you've been an awesome 600th guest today. Where's Clownado available?
Wherever bad movies are sold. It's everywhere. You look it up, it's everywhere. It's at Walmart, it's at Target, it's Best Buy. It's also available online everywhere. Every online retailer you can imagine has it. And, I'm really thankful for that because we really needed the support. So, it's everywhere. Bone Hill Road, it's everywhere. House of Forbidden Secrets is everywhere. Dreaming Purple Neon is everywhere. I've been really lucky. We've got wide distribution. Family Video even carries our stuff, and it's doing well for them. The video rental stores are still out there, and they're struggling, but they're still doing it. And we've been really lucky because we had a lot of really good support and a lot of really good backing. So, all these guys, it's out there everywhere, man, and I appreciate people checking it out. A lot of the old stuff from back in the days getting ready to come back out. We're going to be doing box sets and stuff of those, and Mountain Breed will be back out there. I'm really wanting to do a Blu-ray. It's not going to be as good a quality as like a lot of Blu-rays, but it's going to be a better quality than the DVD will be. Of Mountain Breed because we remastered it. It looks pretty nice. Mm-hmm. I'd like to get that out there. So there's a lot happening, and we got new movies coming. We're working on right now. I just finished a script. I'm working on another one, and the Ballad of Marshall Stack is our next big one, and that's probably a summertime shoot. There's a lot of good stuff going on, and people can find me on Facebook. I love it when people come out and friend me on Facebook, and people can find me on the internet, zombieblowback.com. Mm-hmm. I've got a radio show too. It's Night Watch Radio. People can come out and hang out. This is all the stuff, and I just love all this, man. I love the interaction with people. That's the positive thing about social media. We got to meet because of social media, you and I. And I want to thank you.
Oh, my pleasure, Todd. I
know, seriously, you do things. You guys keep this whole thing alive. All of you guys out there.
Yeah.
I say this to a lot of people who interview me. I say this a lot, but it's really true. You guys keep us alive, and because you get the knowledge. I mean, you're out there promoting our stuff, supporting what we do, telling people about us. Your interview tonight, people will be like, "Who the hell is this Todd Sheets guy?" Now they know.
Yeah.
It's you. And don't ever shortchange what you do, because it's very important, man. You guys keep the genre exciting and vital and alive and positive, and that's important. Positive energy. You guys are like the cure for trolls, is you. So keep that in mind, man. You're awesome, and I really appreciate you doing this for everybody.
Oh, my pleasure. I don't shortchange it. I had a near-death experience like you did. Had a bad car accident 4 years ago, and I had a heart attack in the process as well. And, I've just been very lucky the last 2 years with the people like yourself that I've gotten to interview, and I don't take it for granted. I just enjoy what I do, and I love promoting the genre that I love the most, and that's horror.
We can tell, man. We can tell. It's in your heart. We can feel it. We really can.
Yeah. And so you have another movie that that you're going to make soon. You said in the summertime. Is there a convention appearance you have coming up?
There's a lot of Clownado screenings going on right now. I don't know if I'll be at all of them because it's expensive to travel, but I'll be at as many as I can. People can just look that up, on Facebook and stuff. There's a lot of, we're trying to update our website. But again, not enough time in the day, but we're trying. We're trying to get that website updated so we can show people, when we're going to be out and around and doing things. So, I just did Southern Monsterpalooza. I wasn't really a guest per se. I was just there.
I saw you.
New Jersey HorrorCon, they just did a screening at Clownado, and it's just, there's so many great places out there that are supportive and doing these screenings and everything. So I would just say, look it up. Clownado screenings on Facebook and stuff. I was surprised South African Film Festival was screening it, and I was so excited about it, but I didn't know they were screening it until I found out on the Facebook that they were screening it. I was like, oh, wow, they're screening that movie. I had no idea. But it's great. I mean, it's great because I remember talking to them, but I didn't know if they were going to actually do it or not, and they did. So I was really happy. That's a cool thing,
Mm-hmm.
But, again, they're supporting each other and keeping the genre alive, and I support all these film festivals and all these conventions, too, because, man, you talk about a lot of work, and those guys are, again, keeping us alive, getting our work out there for people to see. And I just love going and meeting new people. It's so much fun. But, I'm going to have to start getting a little more organized with, I want to put, a little calendar. This is where I'm going to be. Come out and hang out with me. And I try to do that sometimes, but, man, I tell you, I'm just so, I'm spread so thin with making the movies and, running the company and dealing with distribution and Indiegogo and dealing with all the kind of the things you have to do that I need more help. Any secretaries out there? I need some help.
I'm sure you can get yourself a secretary, man.
That'd be really good. We'll pay you in blood because we have no money.
Yeah. Well, Todd, you have yourself a great night over there, and thank you so much.
Thank you, buddy. You take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, there you have it. Todd Sheets. Ain't he a cool dude? Man, lots of insight, lots of humor into the industry, and Todd is an amazing guy who survived the heart attack and continues doing what he loves, and that's making films. You gotta love that. Give lots of props and hats off to Todd Sheets. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, add me as a friend on Facebook, join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all the time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past, because the present sucks. Later, dudes!